Ever feel like you love everything for a little while until it stops working? You may get super into a new program, new diet, new routine, and it crushes for a few weeks until the motivation drops. You bounce to something else and you just feel like you need to feel excited to perform. That's not inconsistency, that's just being a type 2A. This neurotype is the most adaptive, social, and change driven of the lot. They mimic whoever they're around and they can train like 1Bs one day and then a 2B the next. But here's the problem, everything works, but not work for a long time. So, in this episode, it's all about unlocking how to train, eat, and live as a 2A, the neurotype that needs variety, novelty, and identity shifts to stay in the game. So, who is the 2A? The nickname for the 2A is the chameleon, and we'll get into that in a little second. Okay, so the neurotransmitter profile for the 2As, they have a high adrenaline sensitivity. It's easy to overactivate and hard to downregulate. Besides that, their neurochemistry is pretty level, pretty stable across the board. So their dopamine, their GABA, their serotonin, all moderate levels. Their acetylcholine is quite high, which makes them solid learners, good with skills like the 1Bs. They have a high glutamate level. So that's going to make them emotional, responsive, and empathetic. And overall is what makes them the chameleon. Okay. Their core personality traits is highly adaptable. They'll mimic who they're around. They crave novelty and excitement, will thrive in group environments, will have an extreme sensitive be extremely sensitive to criticism or disconnection from people. They'll feel motivated by feeling on or recognized. They want their efforts to be recognized. That could be worded as like people pleasing, although people pleasing sort of has like a negative connotation to it. This is just what will motivate you, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you need to stop being a people pleaser." That's because you keep saying yes to everything. Like that's usually the thing. Like you're not setting up the boundaries. But if you just fucking put in hard work and want to be recognized, that's cool. That's what's going to motivate you. Okay, do cool shit, be recognized. So they will feel lost or flat without variety or external feedback. So just knowing that you do crave that like recognition, just put in the work. Because if you don't, then you're never going to get. You're never going to feel motivated, right? So there's an important distinction to make. They don't know who they are unless they're in something. They need to become the lifter, the athlete, just that kind of, they need an identity. That's going to bring out their best. They're addicted to variety. The type 2As get bored super, super fast. And not because they're undisciplined, but because their adrenaline ramps up quickly, it'll spike their performance and then it burns them out. So to stay consistent, they're going to need novelty in exercise selection, set structure, rep intent, rotating phases and weekly focuses, and also putting them in environments that have people who they want to become. That environment needs to reflect who they want to become. Even if they're by themselves, it's like you need to put them in a space where this is how you're going to level up. So this is what I do with my clients, and because I'm honestly on the fence if I'm a 1B or a 2A. When I did the test, I actually was fairly close. It was like 1B, 1A, 2A, fairly close in the percentages, which can mean that I could be technically a 2A. So all the 1B and all the 2A things sounds pretty like me, so it's hard. But in terms of programming, it's pretty much the same. I use the Omni contraction system with my clients here. So we'll do eccentric, isometric, concentric, blood work, like, and integrate them into phases or a weekly split, adding all of them in, because that's going to change the whole workout. It gives it novelty the whole time. I remember the first time my coach put me on this, I was like, oh, I love this. Oh, I'm learning a new skill here. And then I'm doing isometrics on this. And then it's like every day it's got different things in it. I'm loving it. And then every 4 weeks I get a whole new fucking program. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this is the longest I've ever stuck to a program. And it's like, oh, it's not necessarily just because I have a coach to have that accountability that we all sell as coaches, right? It's like, oh, it's accountability. He knows how to program for me to not want to quit. Because that's the problem, right? People will fight their brain chemistry and then be like, I just can't do this. This doesn't work for me. This isn't for me. Bam, quit. Right. And like, I literally have, making my own programs. I would do them for 2 weeks and quit. And it's because I would just have the same thing that I had to do every single week. And they would just bore the shit out of me. So this is how you got to make it work for you. Okay. 2As go hard, but just not forever. A 2A will be destroyed by doing the same thing every single week, like we just talked about that. So they can't do it. They need variety. They need a system that evolves. That's really what it comes down to. Just an all-encompassing system that evolves, or they'll actually like they'll more subconsciously self-sabotage just because that will give them that feeling of something different, which is fucking wild. Because I think if you are a 2A, which is the most common neurotyping profile, is the 2A, self-sabotage is often talked about. But we talk about it in terms of a fear thing of like, oh, what if I'm not ready for this success, which is definitely one of the mindset things that I do go into with my clients. And sometimes this is the thing. But what if it's not the mindset of what if I succeed? And what if it's you're fighting your brain chemistry and you're just like, I need to feel something different to feel good. I want to feel good. Wild, isn't it? So it is interesting to know if you are a 2A, like, does your program, does your nutrition, does all of that reflect it? So let's go into it a bit deeper. In terms of training, let's talk training style. So it has to combine neural work, so heavy, aggressive, explosive lifts, with mind muscle connection work. So they're going to love both heavy lifting and pump work, but we need to rotate them. We can't just be doing 12 weeks of bodybuilding. It will fucking crush them and they will quit. Okay. Now, these athletes will be emotionally bought in when you give them this kind of training. This is what they need. Okay. So the best programs would be the Omni contraction. So we're able to like rotate through the isometric, eccentric, concentrics weekly or daily. We could also do wave cycles. So the intensity fluctuates, which again is just something new. When my coach gave me some waves, I was like, oh, I love this. Oh my God, I think I might be a 2A now. I'm reading all this. Hey, I think this is me. And then we could do even like weekly theme shifts, right? So explosive 1 week, pump 1 week, skill the next, power the next, like just completely different things. And it almost feels like you wouldn't be on a program, right? Because you're not sticking to something. But I feel like that's the problem. Everyone thinks you need to stay on the same program for 12 weeks to get results. And a lot of people say like, you just need to stick to the basics and just fucking stick it out. You can do the basics 1,000 different ways. 1,000 different ways. Like even what I've just read there, right? We can do eccentrics on bench press. Next week, we can do isometrics on bench press, breaking down different parts of the lift wherever you're struggling. Then you could do floor press because that's really going to start the isometric in a different spot. Then you're doing concentric. You could add bands to it so you're super explosive, right? Then you could do the wave cycle. So you go 3 reps, 2 rep, 1 rep, 3 rep, 2 reps, 1 rep, and just building it up over time or like over days or weeks or the same session. You can just have so much fun with it and it still be a program. It's just not the conventional bodybuilding bullshit that I go to war against. So a good split example for the 2As would be like a 4 to 5 day split. So like upper lower or push pull legs or like an athletic hybrid style where we can add in full body stuff or upper lower athletic, whatever, right? Like we can just have so much fun with it, but 4 to 5 days is pretty good. They do recover from a high volume. Like when they're stimulated, if they aren't stimulated, volume will crush them. But they can definitely handle more volume than the 1As, the 1Bs, especially if their stress is low. So they want around 5 to 6 exercises per session. So you could do like an A series, a B, a C, and a D. That's like your first exercise, B, C, D. You can superset. You can make them all different. You can have a lot of fun with them. Okay. In terms of block periodization, 3 weeks. That's when you should be changing. Variety is just non-negotiable for the 2As. And if you are a 2A and you haven't got this, I can guarantee you've quit on many programs before. It just doesn't fucking work. Okay. In terms of tempo, use every tempo, but just change it often. Like the 1Bs don't love slow eccentrics, but the 2A can do eccentric focus for 1 week, but just don't make him do it for 4. It's going to be a bit rough. Okay, so just changing it frequently will be good. 3 weeks, you'll be fine. But that extra week is, yeah, even as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, fuck, I think I'm a 2A. I think I got it wrong. Because at the 3 week mark afterwards, I'm like, okay, I'm fucking ready for this new program. And I will often stray off program in the 4th week, unless my coach programs me to heavy lift, because I'm like, I just want to lift something heavy. This is wild. When we're trying to build muscle, so hypertrophy, we're going to need balance between muscle damage and lactate base work. So if they feel that they can perform, then they need to feel it again. Okay, so feel the pump, perform, feel the pump again. That's their ideal structure. They don't want to just be doing pump work. So non-negotiables, frequent variation, emotional engagement as well. So if they can get feedback from their lifts would be good. So recording your exercises could be really good. If you've got a coach, even better, send it to them. But you could post it online. You could send it to your friend. You could send it to your mom, whatever, right? Just be like, oh, look what I did today. Some kind of feedback system would be cool, like performance logs. So even just tracking it, like what I do with my clients, they just track their workouts in the app, and they can see what they did last week. Oh, did I win? Did I get better? Oh, who am I versing here? You can like PB boards even. Like that's what I'm doing with this 12-week challenge. This is where we're starting. When we do the mid-challenge check-in, it's going to be like, oh, I'm coming 4th. I'm in. And then just videos, even just for yourself, just be like, oh, that's not what I wanted. I need to do this differently. It's just enough to gamify the process for you. So definitely, at a minimum, change your training block well and truly before the 12-week mark. Type 3s love 12-week blocks. 2As, we need to change it up, okay? When it comes to nutrition, the goal is to balance the adrenaline spikes and support serotonin and GABA when it's depleted. So the best style would be the zone style, like nutrition, which is like balanced macros. So your carbs, fats, and proteins. Okay. We're going to go a bit deeper into how we can play around with all this though. So that's like the optimal thing to do. Moderate fats, moderate carbs, high protein, always high protein, right? Carb cycling works fucking amazingly for a 2A. They just need structure around it. And again, fuck me, I think I'm a 2A. Because when I loved carb cycling, loved it. I did really good on the high carb days. Not so much on the other days when I wasn't really too sure what I should be doing. Like I got really clear on what I needed to do on my high carb day. I'm like, oh, this is how much energy I'm expending. This is how many carbs I need. Let's get wild on this. And then the other ones I didn't really spend the time on because I wasn't as engaged with it. But carb cycling does work awesome. So you're putting your high carbs on your biggest output days, which makes sense, right? It's the novelty. When we're talking fat loss, even muscle gain, but let's talk fat loss for a second. We need to bring that novelty in. And I did this test with my mum, and she frequently will say things like, I've just got no self-control. I can't do it. Like I'm good for 2 weeks and then I quit. And there's so many people out there that's going to feel this and just be like, oh, it's not my willpower. What do you mean it's not my willpower? You're just trying to feel good. And people say they're emotional eaters. Well, maybe this is the emotional eating that is like the actual problem, right? You need a change to feel good. And you know that if you eat something, you'll feel good momentarily until then you guilt yourself because you've just fucking ruined your diet and you've fallen off your standards. You feel like shit, right? So what if we build something into this? So what I'm doing with my clients at the moment that want to lose fat in particular, every 3 to 4 weeks, we're changing their nutrition as well. So we could do keto for 3 to 4 weeks. We could do carb cycling for the next. We could do just zone, just cool, just calorie counting, having like a balance of everything. Carnivore the next, fasting the next. It doesn't matter as long as we're getting the calorie deficit that we're looking for. We're hitting that high protein regardless. So we're supporting muscle growth and making sure we're not losing our muscle at least the best that we can, while also not getting hungry. But the actual like method that we follow doesn't matter as long as it's the thing that keeps us engaged and not going off to Macca's and getting McFlurries. Oh, Biscoff McFlurries. Doing Biscoff McFlurry free April, for fuck's sake. It's Easter. I deserve one. Anyway, but that's what I'm saying. We just need to add variety into this. And it's not like anything's going to work for a long time. So you may feel unreal on keto for a short time. And then your serotonin can drop, and then your sleep will tank. And then fasting can work really, really good, especially when you're doing like high intensity training. Like that could really help boost you for a bit, but just not for a long time. So everything should be cycled. Nothing's permanent. Um, yeah, I think that's the main thing you need to take, which is variety and add it everywhere. Okay, recovery. Because they're adrenaline sensitive, they're prone to burnout. Even if they feel good, they just might be masking fatigue. So the best tools will be like nervous system support. So you could take some GABA, some magnesium. You could do some breath work. Um, you could even just deload with lighter neural load. So not lifting as heavy, not so explosive, just moving the body. More isolation and pump stuff in this section. And it won't be for long. It's just going to be for a couple of days where you're like, oh, I just feel fucking shit. Give yourself a couple of days. Again, this is like a massive thing where people are like, I've got no discipline. I don't want to do it, so I'm not doing it. And it's always the 1As on Instagram or YouTube. They're like, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Go turn up and do it. You will just feel better if you do some kind of movement so you haven't fallen off your like streak, but you didn't have to go out all out max. Listen to your body. If you're not feeling it, just fucking bring it back. In a couple of days, you're going to feel great and you're going to go hard again. The streak's the more important thing because it's your expectation of standards that you're like, this is what I need to meet. So meet them, but just bring the resistance down to go. Just be like, I need to go every day, or I need to go 5 times, whatever it is to you, right? But don't say I need to lift as hard as I fucking can every single day. It's just not going to happen, and you're gonna feel shit. Then you're gonna have mood swings. You're gonna be overreactive, over emotional, and you're gonna want to quit your program because you're like, this doesn't work for me anymore. Okay, so even if you're following a program that's like made for you, right? Like if you're following one of mine with the Omni contraction, where you're like, oh, so much variety. Then week 4 comes, you're like, I'm just cooked. Maybe you're stressed at work. Maybe like didn't get good food, didn't get good sleep last night. Have 2 days. It's not the end of the world. Understand that this is just your process of dealing with things and how your body is reacting to the different neurotransmitters inside your brain. Like this is what you need. Okay, you just need to chill. So if you're constantly program hopping without a purpose, this is also a bit of a red flag that you need to have a bit of a deload and just get clear on what's going on. Okay. In terms of lifestyle and structure, we need personal connection with coaches, teams, or just training communities. So these people will be great at sports, uh, working one-on-one with coaches, like with me, even just getting that feedback, being reassured. Like I've got a heap of people that like we'll just roast each other. But then like I'll give them feedback and I'm like, man, you did really good. Like I know we talk a lot of shit, but like honestly, fucking unreal. Well done. You're good. And that's enough to just be like, ah, oh, yes, got that reinsurance that I'm doing the right thing. We're having fun. That's awesome. And they also need to have permission to change. And that needs to be built into the program, right? So you can't fight that. You need to have that permission where you're allowed to have that freedom. So some daily dopamine and adrenaline support things could be journaling and even emotional tracking. So in my app, we got a daily tracker where it's like, what's your stress, energy, hunger, digestion, like just things like this that just makes you more aware of where you're at. So any of my clients listening to this, Josh in particular, the man, you're the reason I'm making this podcast. Love your work, bro. Go do that fucking daily check-in just so you can see where you're at. Because if you're feeling really good, then you might be like, oh, that's because I nailed my food the last few days. I just changed over to carb cycle. I am feeling good. And then when it starts to drop again, you're like, oh, I might need some new variety. That might just pick me up again. Then you understand yourself. It's fucking unreal. Okay. Learning new things every week is a big one for the 2As too. So just pick something. It doesn't need to be huge. And like my daily minimum is I've got to learn an hour every single day. I didn't say I need to learn an hour of Facebook ads. I need to learn an hour of training. I just need to learn every day. I don't have that rigidity to my structure. It's just like I get to learn for an hour today. How fucking cool is that? What am I going to learn? Ooh, it's exciting. I can add the variety in, but at the same time on my calendar every day. So 9 to 10 o'clock, I'm learning. That's what I'm doing. It'd be really shit if I just had to do the same thing every single time. But I get to choose what I want. I can go into shit that I don't want to learn about. That would probably be good, make me money like ads. Or I get to be like, ooh, I'm learning more about training today. And I can just play off that and it will boost my energy. Okay. So boredom or disconnection will equal stress, will equal shutdown. They don't need more consistency. They need more creative direction. In terms of supplements, magnesium glycinate, which will calm down the nervous system and improve sleep, so that will just shut them down again because of their higher adrenaline. L-theanine, that will also balance out the adrenaline spikes. L-tyrosine, the dopamine precursor, so that will boost the motivation, get them going. Ashwagandha could be cool as well. It will regulate cortisol and can reduce some emotional crash. Alpha GPC, that will support the skill development and focus, which is what's going to make them feel really good. So for jiu-jitsu, I always take some Alpha GPC, just like, I'm like, oh, I'm learning now. Let's go. Avoid overdoing stimulants. You don't want to go too crazy. And also just avoid long, extreme protocols like low carb or fasting. It would just backfire over time. So if you crush a program for 3 weeks and then ghost it, if you're the type to go all in and then all out, you're not inconsistent. You're just a 2A. You need a training, nutrition, and lifestyle system that evolves with you, and know when to pivot before you crash. That's the ideal. Okay. That's what we want. So that's all for the 2A. The next episode is going to be the fourth of the series of the neurotype profiles, which will be the 2Bs, which I'm really keen to get into. If you don't know what neurotype you are and you want to learn, just send me a DM that says quiz on Instagram. I'll send it over. I plug it through ChatGPT, lets me know what you're at. And then we can start talking about how to optimize all of it for you. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today, and I'll talk to you soon. Again, thank you, Josh. You're the man.